Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to everyone watching around the world or live or on demand. We are the Makeshift Managers Podcast. I am Austin.
I'm
Pointing the
Devin,
wrong way. That's Devin.
whichever direction I'm in. But yeah, welcome back, guys. Another fun week of NFL. It's not even fun anymore, actually.
It's
If you
not.
had any fantasy lineups this week, my condolences or congratulations by getting out by the skin of your teeth. It was ugly.
Yeah, luckily I was on a bye this week, so I didn't really have to worry about it too much. But yeah, it was a nightmare. I think somebody put up a something about it showed the top 25 running backs this week and their points per game all season, through the first 14 weeks, and then how they did this week, and they
Mhm.
almost all regressed significantly. And
Yeah.
Duke Johnson got 2 touchdowns, so that doesn't help anybody, literally
Donta
ever.
Foreman just eating up yards. No, yeah, it was desolate to say the least. I rode Joe Mixon all the way to my semifinal. Granted, there's only 4 teams that make playoffs, but it's just bittersweet going 12-1 and being out in the first round. You can't make these things up.
Yeah, the podcast got knocked out in both of their respective playoffs, but we'll fight for fifth place. Fuck it.
We'll do our best.
Pride.
That's all we can do. Yeah, pride at this point.
Personally, I won my quarterfinals, so I'm off to the semis, and then so I'm in the semis in both personal leagues that I play in. So I'm just hoping my teams can go off because I'll get money if I make the finals. That's all I really need. I don't need to win the whole thing. I will take it, but I don't need it. Just being greedy.
I have one league where I have a shot to make money left, and I'm in the semifinals. If I win this week, it's a 2-week matchup. I had the lead. I just need to hold on to it. Hopefully, like I should have this previous week, and then I'll see like $10 come back to me. But
There you go. Hey, $10 is $10.
hey, man, that's the entry fee. So actually, no money will come back to me. I'll just be like, hey, put my 10 towards the winner's budget.
All right, let's kick off week 15, the wild week that it was. Thursday night football. Devin.
Okay. I can't do the whole ironic like we dem boys. Mike McCarthy's the goat. We dem boys. We'll be back. It is what it is. In the moment, you can ask Austin. I was off the walls. I was pissed. I was not happy at all. But if we look at the game in whole, I can't be super frustrated at the bulk of what happened in this game. We took it to the Chiefs. We put up 14. We put up 14 in two different quarters. Our offense was very hot and cold in this game. We really didn't go for a lot of field goals, which I guess cost us in the end. But if you look at the game in Arrowhead, Staley was very aggressive, and we ended up winning the game on a big 4th down conversion to Mike Williams for that touchdown. There were a couple plays in the final drive of the game where we obviously could have won the game. I was surprised they didn't call a pass interference whenever Keenan Allen got basically tackled within the 5-yard line without the ball in his hands. That pissed me off. I'm not mad at Staley. He gets paid big money to make these decisions. This isn't going to make or break our season, hopefully. We're 8-6. We're the first seed in the wild card. We win this game. We're in the driver's seat for the AFC West. But Derwin James was out after a certain point, and Travis Kelce's dad is Derwin James. So Derwin James isn't on the field. Travis Kelce does what he usually does. But if Derwin's out there, Travis gets held pretty darn well. But that 3-headed monster reared its ugly head once again for the Kansas City Chiefs. And until a team's going to slow down Hill and Kelce, Mahomes is going to be able to do whatever he wants. 410 passing yards and 3 scores against the defense. You're lucky to even be in the game at that point.
I actually have found a team that can stop them. It's called COVID-19.
Yeah, basically. Because the Chargers played a good game. Herbert threw a pick, had 2 touchdowns and 236 yards. Joshua Kelly, if you're listening to this, hold on to the ball. I don't get why Eckler or Justin Jackson aren't the goal line back at this point. Joshua Kelly has done nothing so far in his career to merit getting that carry. And arguably that turned the game on its head, in my opinion. Keenan Allen's a monster. Mike Williams, once again, he's not who he was earlier in the year, but he's still a good player. It's a tough way to lose, but the Chiefs needed this win more than the Chargers did, essentially. The Chargers weren't looking to win the AFC West this year. If we won it, that's gravy, and that's great. First-year head coach, brand new offense. We're overachieving to certain extents, and we already beat the Chiefs once, so I'd rather get this loss out of the way before the playoffs start, whenever we make the playoffs, because we can learn a lot more from this game losing it than we can winning it.
Yeah. For me, it's just I felt like turning the ball over 3 times within the 5 is a little too aggressive for my taste, but I get it. It's kind of that weird spot where, to me, it's you have to put up points against the Chiefs, whether it be 3, 6, or 7. I felt like in those situations, sometimes it could have been 3, but I kind of understand Staley wanting to kind of step on their throats and kind of just put them in the dirt right then and there. Because you do, if you score a touchdown on at least 1 out of those 3 and even 2 out of those 3, the game doesn't get anywhere close to overtime and the game's over. The Chargers win. You're in first place of the division. So it ended up not working out for you guys. It is what it is. Slam Staley all you want, but he's, kind of turned the team around to be competitive in almost every game you've played all year.
Yeah. We wouldn't be in the situation to be able to make those calls if it weren't for Brandon Staley.
Exactly.
You can love it, you can hate it, but you got to be consistent. I'd be a hypocrite if I were sitting here saying, well, fire Staley. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Our biggest problem has been our play calling half of the year, and that's looking inward at Lombardi because Staley's a defensive-minded coach. But the Chargers will bounce back.
All right, now we'll move on to Saturday's game. The New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Indy?
Yeah, it was an Indy.
Colts win 27-17. Jonathan Taylor saves his fantasy night with a big old run towards the end. 29 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown. I believe it was, I don't know, it was like a 60-something yard run or something, but he took off towards the end to just put the game in the dirt. Jonathan Taylor just shows once again why he could be the MVP this season, but it is a quarterback's award, so, probably not going to get there if Derrick Henry didn't get there last year. Me and Devin fought over it all year long. Carson Wentz, 5 for 12 for 57 yards.
And he won. This is the one game for the Jonathan Taylor truthers that they can cling to whenever it comes to an MVP case. Because, yes, it is a quarterback's award, but Jonathan Taylor genuinely, the defense aided this win, but Jonathan Taylor basically carried the entire offensive load for this team for 48 minutes. And that's unheard of to a certain extent. This doesn't happen. Everybody gave Mac Jones shit whenever they beat the Bills by 6 points on field goals and that snowball, and he only threw 3 passes. I think it's worse off on Wentz only being able to complete 5 of 12 passes against this New England secondary, as opposed to Jones just not throwing it at all. And to be fair, the Colts almost blew this game. Jonathan Taylor sealed it, but they were storming back. It was 17-20, and the Colts needed to answer because their defense shit the bed in the fourth quarter, to be blunt.
Give up 17 in the fourth.
Because everybody's riding this Colts train. And granted, I was the conductor of the Colts train start of the season. I thought the Colts were a really solid team. They were probably going to win the AFC South. Their biggest problem this year has been letting teams beat them. Look at Baltimore. Look at all these games where they let teams crawl back and end up beating them. This basically happened this Saturday. They just lucked out because Jonathan Taylor was able to break through the first line of defense and find the end zone. But if they're going to play games like this for the rest of the year, I genuinely see them not making the playoffs because this win could have very easily been another loss in the column.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for the Colts, the Titans are really struggling right now, so they've kind of stayed in this race. Didn't help that they got swept by the Titans, but the Titans, one of those games against the Titans is exactly what you're talking about. They let the Titans get back into it, and the Colts just kind of beat themselves in a sense. Mac Jones threw the ball 45 times this week, which is 1,100% more than he did last week or whatever the number is. 26 for 45, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. We've talked about Mac Jones all season. Pretty conservative. Doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot, but when he does turn the ball over, you kind of expect this. You kind of expect the Patriots not to win the football game because he's not going to blow you away with his stats any given day so far from what we've seen. But I like his stats. 299 and 2 TDs is pretty good. The Colts secondary has been beat up and is a little suspect on this season. And they barely lost time of possession. They lost by like 40 seconds. So the Patriots played well. They just kind of fell behind and never got to catch up. And yeah, that Jonathan Taylor run sealed it. And Patriots were very close to climbing back into it. I still think the Patriots are a very good football team. I still think they'll make the playoffs. With the Titans struggling, I think the Colts can win the division at this point. We just have to look forward to their games. This was one of the games I feel like they do have to win out at this point. But if they had lost to the Patriots, that would have probably been the end of their division run, and they would have had to settle for a wild card, which is not even guaranteed at this point in the season.
Looking at the game, the Patriots outplayed the Colts. Yes, the Colts won time of possession. The big determining factor for this game was no Damian Harris. So Bob Stevenson, Ramondre, he had to go out there and be the lead back, which didn't work out all that well. They accrued more yards than the Colts did in general. The Colts killed them on the ground, which leads to that 1 minute more in time of possession. But they were more efficient on third downs. They had more first downs. They ran more total plays on offense and only had to punt the ball one more time. They lost the turnover battle and they got killed with penalties. So this is probably the ugliest game the Patriots have played all year. So for them to lose by 10 to a team that's as hot as the Colts are, I think the Patriots going into this Bills week should be A-okay. Even more so than coming into the Bills week last time on that massive winning streak.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Patriots play the Bills next week, so that's a big game for them. The Colts, I have it written down here. They play the Cardinals, so another big game for them. So both these teams got really hard matchups next week that they kind of have to win.
Yep.
I think if the Patriots lose, they'll end up surrendering that division lead that they have, since we'll get to the Bills, but they beat not the Cardinals, the Panthers.
The Panthers. Who hasn't beat the Panthers this year?
Sticking in the AFC South, the Steelers beat the Tennessee Titans 19-13. Look, Henry's out. Julio's out. Shocking. AJ Brown's out. Who isn't out on this Tennessee Titans? Ryan Tannehill is kind of left out there to dry. I like Ryan Tannehill a lot in terms of he's kind of resurrected his career in Tennessee. He's played good enough football to win. He's a good runner. He's a decent passer. He kind of has a good team built around him, and he's been able to win. But now there's nothing for him to do. He went 23 for 32, 153 yards and a pick. Carried the ball 5 times for 18 yards. Dante Foreman carried the ball 22 times for 108 yards. Like, they're trying, but their offense is just so depleted. They don't have big explosive plays. They can really only run the ball. And yeah, you could say they do that when they have Derrick Henry too, but to have the option to throw to AJ Brown and Julio Jones is really nice. When you're throwing to Nick Westbrook and Chester Rogers and Anthony Fursker, what do you want this team to do?
Yeah, every week I want to like stick my fork in the Steelers because like Ben's shot and their defense is the worst it's been in like a decade, and their skill guys don't know what clock management is. Like, I really want to just say the Steelers are done, but week in and week out, these old bastards just keep kicking the door in. Ben did little to nothing, threw for 148 yards, had 3 rushes for 0 yards and a touchdown. That's on my Jordan Howard shit. Ryan Tannehill's out here playing with ghosts, essentially. Like, you know that SNL sketch where you had Peyton Manning and it's like the Big Brothers Foundation, and he like helps at-risk youth or like orphan children by playing football with them, and he's just being a total dick to them. Just like just pegging them with footballs. I feel like that's what Tannehill's out there doing. He's just playing with this like the Titans are the island of misfit toys right now. Ryan Tannehill has nothing that he's asked for this Christmas, and he's just doing his best to try and put something on the field that's like respectable. Both of the quarterbacks didn't do anything to inspire me. It really came down to Randy Bullock versus Chris Boswell, and the Steelers gave Boswell better field position, and they went for the kicks more often than the Titans did. So this game is probably the least inspiring game of the week. The Steelers stay alive in the playoff hunt, and the Titans are clinging onto that AFC South lead. It'll be interesting to see because A.J. Brown's designated to return this week off of the IR, which gives them the opportunity to play him against the Niners. I don't know if he plays. And if they lose this week and the Colts win this week, I think the Titans might just break the glass for Derrick Henry. I don't know how ready he is, but he's been out for a long time. And I just have a feeling they're going to get into panic mode if it gets too close.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. They play the the Niners. Oh, they play the Niners tomorrow. Yeah, God, that's tough. That's a tough team to play right now. We'll get to that prediction soon, but it's going to be tough for the Titans to move forward. Their schedule moving forward. So once they play the once they play the Niners, they play the Dolphins, and then they play the Texans. So
yep.
If the Dolphins are still surging after they possibly beat the Saints on Monday night, that'll be tough. And then you have to beat the Texans. They already lost to them once. They can't do it again.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest loss for them right now is losing that game to the Texans. And, I mean, you could say the Jets too, but easily it could be they could be an 11-3 team right now. And those two losses are really looking bad now.
100%.
Like, really bad. All right. We said we get to this game. I mean, we get to every game. Let's be fair here. Buffalo Bills 31, Carolina Panthers, and their carousel of quarterbacks 14. Cam Newton stayed in the entire time. PJ Walker didn't come in. Cam 18 for 38. Ugh. 156 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Cam carried 15 times.
Yeah.
Cam carried 15 times.
This is like this is like one of those reunion tours like the rock bands from like the 70s and 80s go on in the mid 2010s where they can barely sing the words, but everyone's just there for the good time. That's the equivalent of what Cam Newton's doing in Carolina right now. He is providing no actual value to this team besides feeling good that your guy's back in town. I said he was cooked last year. He came back a little hot, but stick a fork in him, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what they do at this point. Like, Cam's on a 1-year deal. So, you trade for Sam Darnold.
The owner could just sell the team. He could probably net like $3 billion, $4 billion. Like, if I'm him, I'm cutting ties because there's nothing good that's going to come out of this franchise in the next 4 years.
Josh Allen did not lead the team in carries or yards. Devin Singletary, 22 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That's why the Bills won. Not really, but it helps. Josh Allen, 19 for 34, not inspiring, but 210, 3 touchdowns, a pick. The Bills are just the better team. There's no real huge analysis here that we need to break down. The Bills are just flat out the better team. Josh Allen's the better quarterback. Cam Newton's the better running back, I think. Used to be at some point. But Bills defense is still pretty good, even without Tre'Davious White. Mm-hmm. There's a better team overall. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Bills had to win this game to stay with the Patriots. They're very happy that the Patriots won because now they can jump back into that division lead as long as they can beat the Patriots next week. So I think that's going to be the bigger test for them. Hopefully the wind isn't blowing 50 miles an hour.
Hopefully not. But speaking of blowing things, the Texans and Jaguars have been blowing every opportunity they get at having a better draft pick. So we've got Houston and Jacksonville as one of our
I just no idea where it was going.
You're right.
No clue.
I was living on a prayer right there. This was the toilet bowl of the year. This game stunk. And if you would have told me start of the year that Davis Mills was going to outperform Trevor Lawrence in an NFL football game, I would have asked you what you're smoking because, damn, this year
I would have asked who Davis Mills was.
Urban Meyer is nowhere to be found because he got fired. If you need to see him, he's probably at a Chili's somewhere applying to be the regional manager. I don't have any more information on the matter, but Trevor Lawrence didn't turn the ball over. Congratulations. James Robinson got more than 5 carries. Congratulations. Brandon Cooks will not be stopped. He is going to get 1,000 yards, and he does not care how you feel about that. This game literally had no purpose than to give Jacksonville the first overall pick. That's all it was. It's just draft position at this point. No one's playing for anything besides pride and a paycheck. They played this game because logistically it had to happen. No other reasons why. Nobody gained anything. Everybody lost everything. If you watched this game on TV, I'm sorry. The fact that we're subject to this product makes me sad.
Although, shout out to our boy MJ on Halftime Hoops app.
Yes,
his team picked up a third
MJ.
win, so we're happy for him.
I'm sure he's pissed. He's like, damn it, dude. We're fumbling the bag.
Yeah, I mean, I know you usually say when a head coach gets fired, the team comes out the next week and wins, but that doesn't apply to the Jacksonville community or the team for that matter. So they don't get a pass on that.
Not at all. They were not good.
Yeah, James O'Shaughnessy got 4 catches for 60 yards. Trevor Lawrence didn't turn the ball over, I guess.
It's an improvement, but it's not a major one.
Rex Burkhead got 16 carries.
He averaged, what, half a yard a carry? The Rex Burkhead carry counts are the Rex Burkhead carry counts make me just laugh inside because everyone's like, dude, the volume. It's like, yeah, he's getting like 2 yards a carry. You could give him 50 carries. Congrats. He got like a fucking 100-yard game. Wow. It's not high value. That these touches are worthless.
Brandon Cooks' 7 receptions for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns leaves him 63 yards away from 1,000 receiving yards on the season. Death, taxes, and Brandon Cooks getting 1,000 receiving yards in a single season, as Devin always says.
I'm just ready to get into Photoshop and create the Thanos meme with just Brandon Cooks' face on it and like Pro Football Reference saying "I am inevitable" because he really is. Like the only
it doesn't matter who's throwing to him.
Only years he hasn't finished 1,000 yards is the 1 year where he had a concussion for every week that he played, and then also 2014 his rookie year in New Orleans with only 69 targets. But
I didn't even know he was a Saint.
If he's over 100 targets a year, he's getting you at least 1,000 yards. Oh, Brandon.
Right. Oh, Brandon. Mr. Cooks.
Let's go, Cooks.
All right. Moving on to We Dem Boys. Mike McCarthy's looks like a goat.
You guys beat up on Longneck. Like,
beat him up so hard that Jake Fromm had to come in. Look, the Dallas Cowboys won the game they were supposed to. Okay. Mm-hmm. They won 21-6. Over the New York Giants. We played against Mike Glenn and Jake Fromm. There's no victory lapping this. Our division's bad, full of bad teams, including us sometimes. Dak Prescott is not playing well lately, but he 28 for 37, 217 and a touchdown. In this game, he didn't really have to do a whole lot to win. He just couldn't really turn the ball over and put his defense in bad positions. He didn't. Tony Pollard got 74 yards. Zeke Elliott got 52 yards. I don't even know if we won time of possession. We did. We won by like 7 minutes, almost 7 minutes. So our defense played well again against a terrible offense. But it is nice to see the game not be stressful in the slightest for the Giants never to ever get going. Trayvon Diggs got pick number 10. First Dallas Cowboy in a really long time. I can't remember what the actual stat was. I think, but happened last year as well with Xavier Howard getting like 11, I think. But it's nice to see Diggs playing well. Micah Parsons playing really well. Demarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
I was like, DeMarcus Ware's back? What?
Can you imagine? DeMarcus Lawrence playing really well. It's good to have a almost full healthy Cowboy squad. You want to see him put up like 50 like we did against Atlanta, but you take a win. you move on. We play the Washington football team next week. We just need to keep winning these games in terms of seeding. I don't know if the Packers are ever going to lose a game for us to even get close to that 1 seed. We are the 2 seed now after this week, so that's nice. We would end up hosting the Vikings at this point, at this current moment in time. But hey, I will take the 2 seed if it is given to us.
You guys beat the Vikings earlier in the year without your starting quarterback. So if you guys draw them in the first round, that's a divisional matchup right there for you.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and rave about it. The Giants are bad. They have a lot of questions that need to be answered. I don't know when those answers are coming, if ever, for that matter. The Lions, I have to keep looking at it because I still can't believe it when I see it. The Lions, 30. The Arizona Cardinals, 12. Sean McVay is playing chess while we all play checkers. He knew what he was doing when he sent Jared Goff to Detroit. I think that's the 4th straight loss that the Cardinals have suffered to the Lions now over the past 4 years. I don't get it. Jared Goff, 21 for 26, 216, and 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions, 90 yards and a touchdown. Josh Reynolds, 6 for 68 and a touchdown. Jason Kabinda, 1 for 6 and a touchdown. I just saw he had the touchdown.
Craig Reynolds, 26 carries, 112 yards. They said, oh, Jamal's out. Oh, shit, DeAndre's not back. Ayo, Craig can get some carries. And it worked out. It's like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, that's Craig. It's like, who the fuck's Craig?
That's Craig. We found him last week.
Like, this game got so bad, Colt McCoy came out in the 4th quarter. Like,
yeah,
I know they're down certain players and Hopkins is done till the playoffs or maybe even the entire rest of the season. But what are we doing? You lost J.J. Watt, big fucking deal. Nobody's had him for a full year since he won Defensive Player of the Year. You guys knew what you were signing up for. It's downright just embarrassing. Dan Campbell, bless his heart, I'm happy he got his 2nd win as an NFL head coach. Detroit, what the fuck are you doing? You're now picking 2nd in the NFL draft. I'm not going to say tank your season away, but dear God, there's only so many opportunities you can get these top level talents. And granted, this draft is a little weak, so I guess whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. Cliff, if you're listening, get it together, because if you fuck this up, I will never let you hear the end of it. Because we came into this year, I'm like, the Cardinals, yeah, they're cool on paper, but Cliff Kingsbury is not that guy. And games like this prove me right. And if they can't beat the Lions on a Sunday, week 15 of the NFL regular season, how in the fuck can I count on them to beat the Rams, the Cowboys, the Bucks, or who else am I missing here?
Packers.
Oh, yeah. Green Bay, the best team in football right now. Exactly. And you could say, well, injuries pile up. Every team I just mentioned is dealing with their own forms of injury. But the Cardinals are the least prepared to get punched in the mouth and bounce back. Because this happened in the 2nd quarter, and the Cardinals couldn't do anything until they were able to put up 6 in the 3rd and 6 in the 4th. It was an embarrassing performance. And if I'm the Cardinals, they could lose the NFC West. They started out like what, 9-0?
I think so.
They were like 9-0. They're now 10-4, and they're playing the Colts. And the Colts have a lot more to gain than the Cardinals do with the win this week. The Cardinals have a lot more to lose. They went from the 1 seed in the NFC to possibly being in the wild card. But I think I've got my money on the Colts this week, especially with how piss poor they played this previous week.
Yeah,
the Lions defense isn't as good as the Colts defense is. And Carson Wentz isn't that worse than Jared Goff. They were literally drafted right next to each other.
There you go. It's a game Arizona can't lose, especially after losing to the Rams. Seeding's all fucked up now. The Packers arguably should have lost to the Ravens, which would have fucked up seeding even more. But they got the asses kicked by the Lions, and like the Lions didn't really kick anybody's ass. They even they beat Minnesota on the last second, but it was a close game. This game was like, I was texting Devin the whole time. I was like, it's 17-0 at halftime. Like, what is going on? It was 24-6 after the third quarter. Arizona never got anything going ever. And it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. Like, you still have Chase Edmonds, James Conner, Christian Kirk, Zach Ertz, AJ Green, James Conner, Rondale Moore. You still have good guys without DeAndre Hopkins. You still have Chandler Jones hiding somewhere in there without JJ Watt. You have Buda Baker. You have a good team. There's no reason to get your heads kicked in like this. There's no excuse besides Cliff Kingsbury just sucks. I don't know. I guess he realized he was over 500 and was like, "Oh, I gotta change that."
It's like the meme where it's like you have the freeway and then you have the interchange. So you have have a winning record and then finish 500, and then Cliff's like, "Oh shit, we cranked the wheel over."
Gotta get on over.
Yeah, it's inexcusable. It just can't happen, especially with the NFC being as competitive as it is right now. The bottom half in terms of wild card spots, there's 5 teams in the NFC that can win it all. Everybody else is just kind of playing house or something. They're just playing around. The Vikings aren't going to win the Super Bowl. Everybody below the Rams is there, but they're not close.
Right. You know what is close?
No.
Devin has no idea where I'm going with this. Okay, so we said we had a special announcement last week. It's been 10 days. We had a little scheduling issues, but let's go ahead and get into this. We were reached out to by manscaped.com to promote some stuff that we were sent. We were sent personally the performance package from Manscaped. So that comes with the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the ball deodorant, the ball toner, the Magic Mat, and even comes with some free stuff. It comes with the Shed, which is a travel bag, and even boxers. So if you were listening closely, we did get the Lawnmower 4.0. So let me tell you about the Lawnmower 4.0. Manscaped is the best in men's below waist grooming, the champions of the world. They offer precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Yes, you heard that right. 4.0, which would technically be an upgrade from 3.0.
That's how numbers work.
So join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free shipping worldwide with our code. What's the code? Boom.
TMSM, baby.
TMSM for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. They'll ship you anywhere you want to go.
Just got to leave the address mark. That's all you got to do.
You just got to put the correct address. So our personal experience, you're talking to somebody who has sensitive skin. It's the genes I was given. Get off my back. This thing is great. I used the Lawnmower 4.0. I have always had problems with nicks, and when I first started shaving my family jewels, every time I thought of nick, I thought I was going to die because I just didn't understand what was going on, and nicks hurt. The Lawnmower 4.0 really keeps everything where you want to be. I usually had the issue of after I'm shaving, the small hairs are really sharp and it's hard to walk around. No, it's great. It has a little light on it so you can see what you're doing. So when you're kind of shaving your junk, it's kind of cool to see. I don't know if you were aware, but seeing what you're doing is pretty helpful.
Yeah, seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. There you go. It allows you to customize different guards. The thing is great. Plain and simple. So go out and Devin, did you also have a good experience?
Oh yeah. Personally, the package that I was sent, as you were, Austin, I have no complaints whatsoever. Whether it came down to the unboxing experience itself, it came in a nice well designed box. Then you rip your little pull tab, and everything's just sitting right there. I really enjoy the fact that the Lawnmower 4.0 is it charges wirelessly, which I find actually very convenient. Whenever you're not using it, you can just put it inside of its dock if the dock's plugged in, and it will wirelessly charge for the next time that you need to use it. The weed whacker itself, I am a person that tends to get nose hairs, and they'll sometimes, dangle out of my nose. And my fiance never fails to let me know that I have them. So she would like to thank Manscaped for helping me get those in line. But whether it comes down to the shaving quality, the build quality, this is a very all around well built product that I myself am glad to endorse, because from the experience that I've had so far, I have no complaints.
Yeah, and if you're kind of weirded out by the word like ball deodorant, it's actually pretty great. It's basically, just design lotion for your genitals. And we can't show you what our genitals look like. That's illegal. But just believe us that they look great after all that. So once again, you get the lawnmower, you get the weed whacker, you get the lawnmower 4.0, 4.0. You get the weed whacker, so the ear and nose hair trimmer. You get the crop preserver, so you get your ball deodorant. You get ball spray toner. You get a magic mat, so you get disposable shaving mats. And then they even throw in a travel bag and boxers. And the boxers are really comfortable, actually. Yeah.
Extremely comfortable.
The whatever magical fabric they have, it's really comfortable. So you could buy like 40 pair. And the deal they got going right now, they will send you the performance package for $120, and then you get to use our code on top of that. So that's 20% off and free shipping. So there's literally no reason not to use it. Just saying. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code, as it says below, TMSM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping. Free. At manscaped.com using TMSM. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Cool? You got it?
Good.
All right, let's keep going. The Dolphins and the Jets. This was a close shave. Hot.
Oh, man.
The Dolphins and Jets put up actually a pretty competitive game. Dolphins win 31-24. Dolphins over the Jets. There you go.
Correct. That's the number.
Zach Wilson, 13 for 23, 170 yards. I don't even know how they had a blocked punt. That's how they had a touchdown. I was like, man, Zach Wilson didn't have any touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown, 4 carries, 12 yards, a touchdown. Braxton Berrios had a rushing touchdown. Tevin Coleman, Michael Carter both got 8 carries each, but Coleman got 50 yards. The Dolphins defense didn't really do them any favors this week, as they gave up 24 to the... excuse me.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. Wow. As they gave up 24 points to the Jets, we've seen better performance from the Miami defense during their 7-game win streak. But Tua Tagovailoa, 16 for 27, 196, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So Tua didn't put his defense in great positions, but it happens. I still think Tua is a decent guy. He was without Jalen Waddle this week. But you know who he was with? Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson, the Duke.
22 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Not one.
What?
Dude, honestly, I think the Miami Dolphins, they operate their football operations are based upon a giant Monopoly board, and everybody gets like 3 dice rolls a week. And over the last season, Myles Gaskin just keeps going straight to jail, because anytime he's like productive, they're like, "Oh fuck, remember this guy?" And it's like, "No, we do, but like don't put him out there." Like Jordan Howard said hi. Duke Johnson's back from the dead. Like, it's insane. And once again, my favorite subplot of this entire NFL season is Zach Wilson playing NFL football, but it not mattering. Like, he's on the field consistently. He had threw 23 passes. He threw for 170 yards and no scores. Like, this guy is out there and doing it, and he's playing, and good for him. He made it to the pros. But if you told me he wasn't out there, like, I'm not going to say that I didn't believe you, because his impact on these games is so minimal. the reason the Jets were in this game was because, yes, Wilson had a rushing score, but it's not like he had like 12 carries, 120 yards, and like a Tyler Huntley performance. And you had Braxton Berrios getting in with the touchdown. But this was a defensive game for the Jets, and Tua allowed the Jets to stay in it. It's just the AFC East being more of the AFC least. This division sucks, and the Dolphins aren't as bad as the Jets, but the Patriots and the Bills are in a different class than either of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are going to have some top picks. I'm pretty sure Miami has two. No, they gave up to the Eagles. The Miami doesn't
Eagles
have a first round pick. That's right. The Jets have a top pick from the Jamal Adams trade. That's what I'm thinking of. So the Jets are probably going to have 2 top 10 picks as long as Seattle continues to suck. So they can get some solid improvement where they need it, hopefully. Miami's on a 7-game win streak. 7? 6. They were 1-7, I believe. Anyway, they're on a long win streak. They've pushed themselves back into the playoff race because nobody wants to definitively go to the playoffs yet. Nobody's decided yet. Miami's defense has played well. They get the Saints next week, so it'll be an interesting matchup there. But I like Miami. They had a chance to make the playoffs last year until they got absolutely annihilated by the Bills. They have to play the Saints, the Titans, and the Patriots. So they don't have to play the Bills. So that's good. They can beat the Saints. They can beat the Titans. The Titans are very turnover happy right now with everyone being out. And they can beat the Patriots if their defense continues to stand tall. If they finished out 9-8, maybe they sneak in the playoffs. You just don't know right now with the AFC and the NFC for that matter. But if they can win their last 3 games and push this win streak to 9, they can make the playoffs at 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
They've put themselves in a good spot. And they've given the Eagles a worse pick. And in the end, that's all that really matters.
If you can't have fun for yourself, might as well spoil it for others.
There you go. All right. Cincinnati Bengals beat the Denver Broncos 15-10. I just don't get the Bengals in the slightest. Yeah, they won the game, but like, mix in 17 carries for 58 yards. T. Higgins got 2 catches. Jamar Case had a catch for 3 yards.
Jamar just in case, because he had 1 catch, 3 yards. If you rostered him this week in fantasy, I'm sorry. But if you rostered any of the receivers besides, Tyler Boyd, I'm sorry. The Bengals, the AFC North has some of the like their teams are very anemic in nature because they can be hot and cold, varying week to week. Not to I guess that was a weird term to generalize it with, but it's a very bleak looking division. You have teams that can go out there one week and look like the best team in football, and then 3 weeks later put up a game where they can barely put over 20 points on the board. The Broncos defense is stout, but this game, the Bengals should have won. They did win, but they should have won by a lot more. Surtain has had a great start to his career out there. Teddy got knocked out in like the second or third quarter and wasn't able to come back. Prayers to Teddy Bridgewater. He's one of the unluckiest players in the league.
Prayers up. I know I missed it earlier because we were hanging on the Chargers really hard, but Teddy and Donald Parham really scary injuries this weekend. They were kind of almost non-contact in a sense. Teddy's was a little contact, but I mean, it's kind of just the way he landed. Donald Parham dove, Teddy dove, both hit their heads really wrong on the ground, knocked themselves out, went to the hospital. I believe both are stable now. I believe they both might be out by now. They just have concussions. But football's a scary game. We've been trying for years to, market the health of the players and concussions. So prayers up to both of them. Teddy with just another scary injury would love to see this guy get going. And it's just something like this kind of always halts him. He had the broken leg, however many years ago that was now. And he kind of resurrected his career with, New Orleans. Now he's in Denver. And when something like this happens, where he wouldn't surprise me if he was done for the year, that kind of just halts what he was trying to prove.
100%. It's the thing with Bridgewater. It's always one step forward and two steps back. He's a really good quarterback in terms of being able to be on the field and play. But his upside has been hampered and limited due to the injuries. So congratulations to the Bengals for now bumping themselves up to the first spot in their division because they've beaten the Ravens once already this season. I think they still have to play them one more time. And I think the Broncos season might be done. They have to go up against the Raiders next week with Derek Carr facing Drew Lock, unless Bridgewater can suit up. But I would be surprised after getting stretchered out like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Bengals put themselves in a good spot. I believe they're leading the division at the current moment. So they play Baltimore next week. So a win right there could put them in the driver's seat for the AFC North and even a first or second seed because honestly nobody wants that either.
Yeah, 100%.
Niners beat the Falcons 31-13.
What did we expect? Like Jimmy Garoppolo is the thing was for me, the Falcons suck. They're the worst 6-8 team the league has ever seen. Arthur Smith, congratulations, but you could FedEx Express ship this entire team somewhere else. Nothing good is happening in Atlanta, and I feel terrible for the fans that have to support this franchise. They traded Julio Jones away and haven't done really anything with the assets they've been given. They drafted a tight end at 4, which has never happened and will never happen again because tight ends do not provide enough value to go that high. Mike Davis, congratulations. He's getting carries again. Cordero Patterson. If it weren't for Cordero Patterson, the Falcons would be picking 3rd in the NFL draft this year. Cordero Patterson has been the only sign of life for this franchise. Russell Gage has been coming on over the last couple of weeks. Really happy for him. Calvin Ridley has not been seen for the last month. I hope he is doing well. I hope his mental health is improving. Prayers up to Calvin Ridley and everyone associated with him. It's not his fault he's not playing, but this team is a mess. Their defense isn't good. The Niners had the edge, whether it be personnel, coaching. Kyle Shanahan coached the best version of Matt Ryan ever. So to sit here and anybody say that the Niners are going to lose this game is just poppycock. It's ridiculous. The Niners are arguably the hottest team in the NFC right now, besides Green Bay. They refuse to lose. Doesn't matter who's at running back. They got Jeff Wilson for 21 carries, 110 yards. Deebo Samuel has turned into the second best running back in football over the last month. Out of all running backs and rushing touchdowns on the year, the only player with more rushing touchdowns of 10 or more yards on the play is Jonathan Taylor at 7. Deebo Samuel has 6. Deebo's been taking snaps at running back for like 4 weeks. So Kittle's on fire. Deebo's still getting receiving work. And Ayuk, while he only had 1 reception, I'm pretty sure AJ Terrell was covering him for a bulk of that game. And that's the only bright spot for the Falcons. AJ Terrell has emerged as arguably one of the premier cornerbacks in the NFL. If he was playing on a more competitive team, he would get more shine. But he should be an all-pro this year, without a doubt. Sorry for the rant. It's just the Falcons suck, and I hope they know.
Hey, you're right. Jimmy's going to keep playing because they're still winning. They have a date with the Titans tomorrow, a game that I believe that we'll both probably end up taking them in. They're hot right now. They play after that. They play the Texans. And then they play the Rams. They're in the hunt for the division, surprisingly. They've kind of resurrected themselves after a poor start. That Rams game at the end of the season might be one of the biggest games of the season right there for any team. So we'll see how that goes. I am convinced that I could be a running back for the San Francisco 49ers and put up 100 yards at this point.
Yeah.
Not saying anything bad about San Francisco running backs. It's just crazy to me how it goes from like Sermon to Mostert to Wilson to Hasty and all these guys just putting up 100-yard games behind them for 20 carries. And now Deebo Samuel. I'm sure Deebo Samuel will have a 100-yard game pretty soon on the ground.
Well, the thing is, if I had Trent Williams clearing the path for me, I could average 3 yards carry, give or take.
Honestly,
he's the best tackle in football. He has been insane in his 49ers tenure. That guy has not missed a beat.
All right. Speaking of not missing a beat, Mark Andrews went off against the Packers. 10 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, but the Ravens still lost. The Packers win 31, oh Lord, to 30. Tyler Huntley, 28 for 40, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13 carries, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. The dude played outstanding in Lamar's stead. But once again, we're sitting here wondering if John Harbaugh made the right call.
Okay, the thing is, Green Bay fucking controlled the game for the most part. Like, Baltimore had to come back in the fourth quarter to make it a game to begin with. And to sit here and say that Baltimore would be able to pull it out in overtime, I think is a little optimistic, because we were sitting here 2 weeks ago and they went for 2 against the Steelers because they were afraid they weren't going to be able to make it out of overtime. This is the most defensible call of John Harbaugh's season. If people were bitching about the Steelers, sure, that's fine. Ben has a noodle arm. Ever since Aaron Rodgers came back from the COVID list, he's been playing like the best quarterback on the planet. He's reinserted himself into the MVP discussion. And to think your secondary without Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, and anybody else that I could name off the top of my head is going to stop Aaron Rodgers if they get that coin flip is just brazenly optimistic. If you want to beat the Packers, you have to get that 2-point conversion. The biggest problem was probably the play design. Everybody on this planet, in this galaxy, and wherever, just in this consciousness, knew it was going to Mark Andrews. He had the game of his life this weekend, or one of the games of his life. So Huntley did everything that he could, and the Ravens overachieved to the fullest extent this week. And yeah, I think it's the right call, because sure, you guys could win the coin toss, but even if because you're basically playing on a 50-50 shot either way. And I'd rather take the 50-50 shot where I'm in control of the outcome, as opposed to just a coin flip to determine who gets the ball first. Because we did that. The Chargers did that. And you know what happened? We lost.
Yeah.
Don't go with the coin flip. If you can end it, end it.
Yeah. Huntley did miss Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown was fairly open on that play. But I think he just stared down Andrews the entire time. Look, I get it. You want to put the game away. It's hard for me to say that you're at home. Your defense was playing better in the second half, and you could get the ball first. In a results-based world, we're gonna bash John Harbaugh because it didn't work, but we would love him to death if they were 10-4 right now.
Yeah.
If the Ravens were 10-4 right now, John Harbaugh would be coach of the year, because they would have gone for 2 and they would have won 2 games against the Steelers and the Packers. They would probably be leading their division. They probably wouldn't have to worry about the Bengals next week winning, or maybe they would, but still, they'd be in a much better position than they are right now. Fuck it. Like, there's so many sides to this coin. When you have one argument on one side, the other side has another, and they're all legitimate. It's just basically depends on the type of person you are. Are you a more conservative person where you think you can take this into the next quarter and win it? Or do you think that it's all or nothing right now? And literally going forward to there is all or nothing. I'm not sure how much time was left. I don't know how much time they would have gave Aaron Rodgers to maybe kick a field goal. Probably like no time at all, if I remember right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to bash John Harbaugh in a results-based world because it just didn't work. He's doing what he can with a team that's beaten to hell, and Tyler Huntley had the game of his life. So great for him, and he went to win a football game. You play to win the game, as Tony Dungy. Is it Tony Dungy?
No, Jim Mora.
There you go.
No. Tony Dungy is you play to win the game, I'm pretty sure. Then Jim Mora's playoffs. Herm Edwards is you play to win the game. New York Jets.
You okay over there?
I am an encyclopedia of information. You just got to let me warm up. This room's kind of cold.
Okay. Sunday Night Football. Sean Payton, I think, has pictures of Spider-Man or knows something about the regular season Bucks that we don't know.
Well,
The
Tom Brady
Saints.
told one of the coaches, "Go fuck yourself," as he's walking to the sideline. Like, they own this man. Tom Brady is so bothered. He's throwing Microsoft Surface tablets and shit. Like that. Obviously, it's Tom Brady, but like, whenever I see a 42-year-old grown man turn into a fucking toddler, I'm here for it. So, city of New Orleans, who day, man. Like, shout out the Saints, shout out Drew Brees, shout out Zion Williamson, shout out the entire area of New Orleans because I love watching Tom Brady squirm. Just kudos to you guys.
Yeah, Taysom Hill, 13 for 27, 153 yards, 11 carries for 33 yards. Tom Brady, 26 for 48, 214 and a pick. Let's get to the real meat of this. Chris Godwin, done for the season, torn ACL.
Yep.
Mike Evans, I believe it's a hamstring issue, probably not playing next week. Leonard Fournette. Huh?
Fournette's out for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette is out for the rest of the regular season. They get Antonio Brown back next week. So that might be a boost to their offense. We'll see how that ankle holds up. I'm personally a little spooked for Antonio Brown because he had the ankle issue for so long, and I think it was much worse than they initially thought. Then he got the suspension. So yeah, he's been off for like almost 10 weeks now. But if Evans and Godwin and Fournette are out, he's not going to be on a snap count. You can't afford to put him on a snap count because you have to win these games for good seeding.
Yep.
And technically you didn't clinch the division because you lost to the Saints now twice. So they hold that tiebreaker.
Yep.
So you kind of have to go out and win these games. So are the Bucs in trouble? No, I wouldn't say that. I think they've already clinched a playoff spot anyways, and Tom Brady in the playoffs is just a different entity. Yep. He is inevitable. I just don't know what the Saints know that we don't know personally.
They also lost Levante David.
See, if things just get worse.
Like, the Bucs are going to be fine. Hold off on the Ronald Jones as the savior of this backfield because Le'Veon Bell was signed to the Bucs. I don't know if Tom hates Ronald Jones or what's going on, but I don't know. It's the Saints just they play a style.
Get some carries too.
They play a style of football that's very conducive to winning against the Patriots because the Patriots they field Mike Evans every week, and Marshawn Lattimore owns Mike Evans for the course of their careers. Marshawn Lattimore against the Bucs is arguably one of the best corners in football. He shuts their dudes down with just absolute vengeance. He does not allow Bucs receivers to produce. And their defense shows up for big games. Doesn't matter what their offense does. So it's just a bad week for the Bucs that got worse. They lost to a team they really couldn't afford to lose to, and they lost guys that they can't really play without.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some of the rescheduled games. So it kind of works out that we are doing today randomly instead of Monday since I was gone, but since of all these rescheduled games. So we'll get through these quickly. The Raiders beat the Browns 16-14. Nick Mullins had to get in there because Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum could not. Once again, the Raiders don't really blow me away here. The Browns, they're without Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb had 23 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. Honestly, it felt like Chubb should have had 40 carries the way the offense was going.
Yep.
I know Donovan Peoples-Jones had some big drops, so obviously that's Odell Beckham's fault. I don't know what you really want me to say here. I don't love either team. I don't think either team is making the playoffs. I think both teams are kind of in a weird spot where they don't particularly love their quarterback, but they don't have anywhere else to go. And there's still questions on other sides of that. The Browns have Jarvis Landry, but they don't have a great receiving core with Odell gone now. They have that two-headed backfield, but when it's not healthy, what do? The Raiders have had their personal issues all year long. Every time Derek Carr has a bad game, everyone calls for his head. Have I missed anything?
My thing with this game is the Raiders are the equivalent to Jason Voorhees. Every time I mentioned this with the Steelers, I want to stick a fork in them, but the Raiders for everything that this team has gone through this season, they are probably the most resilient team outside of the Baltimore Ravens in terms of just persevering through adversity. This game came down to the Browns just they've underachieved in every aspect of the game this year. And we haven't seen it so much in their special teams, but this game came down to Chase McLaughlin not being able to hit the only field goal he attempted. They lost by 3 points, and Daniel Carlson, once again, is proving to be the MVP for the Las Vegas Raiders. This dude is money. He's accurate as hell. He's hitting it from distance, and he's putting up more points than anybody else in the offense.
No matter how bad the Raiders are always going to be, they will always employ the best kicker and the best punter in the league.
Yeah, and just Derek Carr refuses to give up. The AFC West is the best division in football. No team is below 500, and all of these teams are going out there and winning games. Regardless of if they're favored underdogs, they do not care. And congrats to Oakland. The loser leaves town match next week, Oakland versus Denver. That's what it is, because the winner will be still in the AFC's.
What team?
The Broncos versus the Raiders.
Yeah, the Oakland Raiders.
Whatever, Oakland, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, doesn't matter. They're not making the playoffs. But I digress. The team that loses this next matchup is going to be out of the playoff contention, and they'll have a shot to make it, I guess, moving forward. But they still have to play KC, I'm pretty sure, for Vegas, or they played them twice. But I'm just saying, the Raiders are as awful as they can be at times. They are still a rather impressive team looking at the grand scheme of their season.
Yeah, I think it's just next year for these two teams at this point. Speaking of next year, the Vikings beat
everyone.
Fire Mike Zimmer, fire Matt Nagy, fire Mike McCarthy.
The teams, trade all the skill positions, just burn it down.
If you're a head coach and your first name starts with an M, get fired. Mike, Matt, Mike, all y'all, get on out of here.
McCarthy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's going to cost us games. Don't tell me he isn't. I'm just waiting for it. There's going to be problems. Kirk Cousins, 12 for 24, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Justin Fields, 26 for 39, 285 yards and a touchdown. 7 carries for 35 yards. I said it before, I say it again. I love Justin Fields. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but his supporting cast is not that great. Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney are basically his 2 guys. I believe I saw a stat. It was like a chart, and it's like, oh, how open are your receivers like consistently? And the Bears have the lowest percentage in the league at 36. 36% of the time, the receiver is deemed open. So the receivers just don't flat out get separation, and Justin is forced to always make these, dime of a throws, and it's just not going to happen in year one.
100%.
It'll happen here and there, but it's not going to happen all the time. The Vikings did what they were supposed to. The Bears lost. They'll get a better pick, I guess. Wait, didn't they trade theirs? Are they without a pick?
Maybe.
They might be. I think they gave it to the Giants.
Something like that. To get Justin Fields, yeah. So the Giants have their pick.
I think for this game, it was such a boring Monday Night Football game.
This game was so boring. I was sitting in the halftime stream talking about whatever the hell I could that wasn't this game. Both of these teams are not good. Both of these teams have a lot of questions in the offseason. The Vikings are still in the playoff hunt, but whoever they face in the first round, it's not going to be pretty. And Chicago they just need to fire their coaches now. They can even trade them. I don't care. I'm just tired of seeing them on the sidelines acting like they're doing something. It was the worst Monday night game I can remember off the top of my head. The worst one this year by far.
All right. Tuesday Night Football. The Eagles beat the Washington football team 27-17. Garrett Gilbert got in there. 20 for 31, 194 yards. Antonio Gibson rushed for a score. Jarrett Patterson rushed for a score. Jalen Hurts, 20 for 26, 296 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Miles Sanders, 18 carries, 131 yards.
We love to see it. He averaged 7 yards a carry, and they couldn't even give him a touchdown. That's the messed up part.
Dallas Goedert, 7 receptions for 135 yards. The better team won.
Yep.
Washington didn't really get a whole lot back from COVID for this game being rescheduled. I know they got Montez Sweat back, but they didn't get Heineke or, I don't think Kyle Allen's that much better than Garrett Gilbert anyways. But, they chanted, "We want Dallas." They got beat. Now they're getting beat by the Eagles. Now they have to go into Dallas Sunday night.
They're bringing their own benches.
It's good. It's where they belong. I don't know what to say about the Washington football team. The biggest thing they had going for them was their defense, and it's just been atrocious this year. They don't have a quarterback. I don't know what quarterback they're throwing out on Sunday night. It probably doesn't matter. They're going to be 6-9. They'll play. I'm pretty sure it's all divisional games for them. They'll play the Eagles and the Giants again. Wouldn't be surprised me if they lost both of those games too. There's not a whole lot to say about NFC East teams. The Eagles are playing well. They're 7-7. They've lost games they should have lost, and they won, or they've lost games they should have won, and they've won games they should have lost. They're kind of in that weird spot. They do have 2 picks. They'll have the Colts pick. They'll have their own pick somewhere in the top 15, most likely. I don't know. The Colts are playing better, so maybe top 20. But
I'm just happy Jalen Hurts came out and performed, because I was tired of people sitting here and having an actual conversation about Gardner Minshew getting a start over Jalen Hurts. It's laughable, and it shouldn't be anywhere remotely near a discussion. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. Get him some actual talent around him and see how far the Eagles can go.
And the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams win 20-10. Cooper Kupp. Yep. Cooper Kupp is now, let's see. He went 9 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was kind of telling my buddies this the other night, or last night. Cooper Kupp is kind of in the spot where, you have your wide receiver 1 and you have your wide receiver 2. So you have like DK Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett, let's say for the Seahawks. DK Metcalf is going to draw Jalen Ramsey nearly every time because Jalen Ramsey is DK's dad, from what we've seen. Cooper Kupp will be here, there, slot against the line. Cooper Kupp doesn't draw the same coverage every single time. He doesn't draw the best cornerback every time because he lines up in all these different looks. I think that's why he's so successful, because he can run basically any route from any spot, and he has great hands.
Cooper Kupp, essentially, I'm not going to compare him to like Steph Curry in terms of like the overall like greatness of individual players, but Stephen Curry's brilliance also comes from his off-ball movement, and I think the fluidity of Cooper Kupp's game, and just he's like a Swiss Army knife. You can put him anywhere in formations, and he's going to produce. And it's really hard whenever you have to game plan your linebackers, your safeties, your corners, all towards Cooper Kupp and whatever the hell he's doing. Because if you start getting in your head about it, then Odell's going off or Van Jefferson's going off for like 65-yard touchdowns.
Yep. 100%. Seahawks, Russell Wilson, 17 for 31, 156 yards a pick. Pete Carroll's got to go. I think Russ has to go in terms of the sense of, I don't think Russ is done per se, but I think he needs a new look. I think he needs to go somewhere else, and he can succeed there because he is Russell Wilson. He is a good quarterback. He has done it before. He can do it, but I think his time in Seattle's done.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just the best. Well, the thing is, they just moved I think Russ has 1 to 2 more years left in Seattle because they moved so hard and aggressively towards Jamal Adams. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be good. The Seahawks they're getting a new coach. Pete Carroll needs to be fired. He is not the answer. He never really was. They won a Super Bowl, and that's great, but they never capitalized after the fact. And that Super Bowl window has been closed for what, 4 years now, 3 years now?
Yeah.
So rip the Band-Aid, because if you wait too long, you're just going to be watching everybody else in your division replenish and get better as you're still just hanging on to a bygone era.
Well, and the time is now. Like, if you're going to blow it up, Do it while everyone else is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Rams, the Niners, and the Cardinals are all very good teams right now. If you're going to blow it up now, then maybe you can catch your Super Bowl window as theirs closes or is
Exactly.
closed.
Yep.
And also for all you wide receivers out there, eat breakfast with your quarterbacks.
Yep.
Word of advice.
100%.
All right, let's get to these predictions, and then we'll get Devin out of here because Devin has to work today. So,
woo, day job. Let's go.
Love it. All right. We already talked about this earlier. The Niners at the Titans. I believe we're both picking the Niners.
Yeah, give me the Niners.
Yeah, the Titans are just too depleted. Even with AJ Brown possibly coming back, I just don't think it'll be enough for them. Marking it all down here on my trusty notepad. That way because we have bad memories. Like sometimes we don't remember who we picked on Sundays. There'll be times where Devin's like, we picked Patriots, right? I'm like, no, we picked the Jets. I don't know. I'm just picking teams. And he'd be like, what? What do you mean? Because I have to go back and check. Okay, Browns, Packers. Even if everyone came back from COVID, it's the Packers.
The Packers are winning this game by a lot. It doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers is on a different planet right now.
The Colts and the Cardinals. Oh, these are Christmas games. The old Christmas Day games. So somebody's got to get 5 touchdowns, right? So it must be Jonathan Taylor.
Give me the Colts. Give me the Colts. Even if it wasn't Christmas, I'm taking the Colts because Jonathan Taylor just went up against one of the best defenses in football and ripped through them like it was damn near nothing. The Cardinals are sliding and the Colts are streaking. So someone's season is on the line in this game. The Colts lose. Congratulations. Your road just got that much harder. You're not winning your division and you have to basically climb up to make the wild card. And if the Cardinals lose, their collapse is official. They're now a wild card team.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. We talked about how the Colts do have more to lose in this situation, but I think the Cardinals have to get back on track. This is one of the worst passing defenses in the league. Yes, they're without DeAndre Hopkins, but you have Chase Edmonds back. You have James Conner, who's been playing really well out of the backfield. AJ Green's got to get going. Christian Kirk did really well last week. I think this is a huge bounce back opportunity for the Cardinals to get a bad passing defense. It is going to be tough to keep up with Jonathan Taylor. I agree. But I can see the Cardinals sneaking this out. I think it'll be a high scoring close game. I can see like 35, 33, 28, 27 kind of deal. Whatever the over is, I would probably take it. So give me the Cardinals by a little bit.
Okay. My biggest thing with the Cardinals Colts game is if we look at their splits on their schedule, the Arizona Cardinals are 7-1 on the road. They're 3-3 at home.
Jeez.
I'm taking the Colts.
Okay. The Falcons and the Lions.
I'm going to Lions. Dan
Campbell, I knew it.
Money where your mouth is. You've gotten me both fucking times, you sick man. You know what? We're riding. I don't care. I hate the Falcons. I've been killing the Falcons all year. Jared Goff, stay in Mexico City for one more week. That's all I'm asking. The Falcons should win this game, and I hate it because the Falcons are a prisoner of the moment. They're never going to blow it up. But, man, Dan Campbell has these dudes playing for him in a way that no other team has right now. The Lions
let's not forget, Jared Goff is currently on the COVID list.
Is DeAndre Swift back? Oh, okay.
No idea.
You know what? Jared Goff's on the COVID list. The Lions will win this game. Mark my words, but I will pick the Falcons because the COVID list scares me.
Okay, so let's say Jared Goff plays.
Give me the Lions. If Jared Goff plays, I'm picking the Lions. If he's out, the Falcons should be able to win. They're at home.
We'll give you that little thing. I'm picking the Falcons regardless. Cordero Patterson got held back last week, so that means he's going to get like 50 touches this week because he's the only way the Falcons can win. I could see Jared Goff beating up this defense a little bit, but we'll see. Especially if Jared Goff is out, then I don't know who his backup is, but it probably doesn't matter. The Rams and the Vikings in a extremely high-scoring affair. Give me the Rams.
Oh, yeah. Give me the Rams. Cooper Kupp's going to have like 14 receptions for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Odell's going to be self-reviving in the end zone. It's just going to be a fun time. Vikings have the firepower, but their defense is nowhere close to this Rams unit.
Yeah, I feel like Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp can just match each other, which would be cool because they're on my fantasy team together. But if Kirk can just feed Justin and Stafford will feed Cooper Kupp, it's probably like a 42-38 type game. You're just gonna go at each other. If you thought last week was the toilet bowl with the Jaguars and the Texans, boy, do I have something for you. It's the Jaguars. It's the Jets. That's all I
Jets. Give me Jets. Zach Wilson will throw for 180 yards, no scores. Michael Carter will have like 2 touchdowns, and their defense will score a touchdown.
I think
don't
Carter
like
went
the
on the
Jags.
COVID list.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. There's no reprieve. It's all just torture. No,
It's all just pain.
Give me the Jets. They're better coached. They're probably a better team overall. And the Jaguars have a really interesting opportunity 2 years in a row to be able to luck into the first pick. They don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Jets. They're just better, the overall better team. There's no fire lit under after Urban Meyer was fired. So, whatever. The Eagles and the Giants.
Eagles. Mike Lennon's neck isn't long enough to get this team to the winning column. Jalen Hurts is going to go nuclear. Kenny Golladay is still just getting 3 receptions a game. Mike Lennon is not the answer. Jake Fromm isn't going to lead them to a win. It's the Eagles need to win. The Giants are playing for nothing.
Yeah, give me the Eagles. Even if Jake Fromm plays, which I feel like he should play at this point. There's, Mike Lennon's won 6 games in his entire career, so you're not keeping Mike Glennon around. What's the point of starting him at this point? Winning games is kind of even worse for you at this point. So you might as well just start losing and see what you have in Jake Fromm. If maybe is he your Daniel Jones replacement? Who knows? Since Daniel Jones is now shut down, so you might as well just play Jake Fromm. But the Eagles are just overall the better team. The Bills head into Foxborough. The Bills and the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots again. Devin Singletary had a good game, but I don't see Devin Singletary repeating. Stephon Diggs will be shut down again, and the Bills' run defense is a little suspect after we saw it on Monday Night Football. I get it. I mean, we knew the Patriots were running the ball, and the Bills still couldn't stop them for the most part. So I just think the Patriots are the better team this year.
So Sunday, what's the weather like in Foxborough, Massachusetts? 4 to -4 degrees. Give me the Bills. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The Bills need this game. This could be the Bills' season. I think they need to win their division if they want to make a deeper playoff run, just because the favorable matchups will be good for them. Because current standings, if they were to start the playoffs today, they're playing the Patriots in the playoffs. So they're going to need to exercise this demon now, because if they can't get past them in the regular season, they're not doing it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not a fucking snowstorm, they should be able to put up points.
The Ravens and the Bengals in Cincinnati.
Ravens. They got smacked in the mouth last time. I think Lamar's back. I think they make a point. This is the division, essentially. If the Ravens lose, the Bengals probably win the division. If the Ravens win, they probably win the division. And I think the Ravens, while they are hurt, are the better team. They're the more experienced team, and they have the better players at the points that matter the most. Like, Mark Andrews is the best skill guy on the field, besides maybe a Joe Mixon. But Joe Mixon's been so inconsistent, I don't expect him to destroy the Ravens like he did last time. And I just think Lamar and the combination of Lamar, Harbaugh, Tucker, and Andrews is too much for me to bet against. You got the best kicker in NFL history, one of the best coaches in the league, one of the biggest X factors in football, and then the best tight end, give or take 1 or 2, as it stands right now. It's a lot to go against. And I think the Bengals, while they jumped out on them last time, it's going to be a hard-fought game. And if it comes down to a kick, give me just Justin Tucker every single time.
I'm going to take the Bengals. I just don't think it's as simple as this for me. I just don't think Baltimore has the defense to be able to cover Boyd, Higgins, and Chase consistently. somebody's bound to go off at this point. Without the corners that they have been without, I think Joe Burrow has a better game than he did against Denver and kind of can just tear up the Ravens secondary.
Yeah.
Chargers.
Bolt up, baby. Send those boys back to Houston. We're playing in Houston, so they don't even have to take a long trip. This is a game that if the Chargers lose, they're not making the playoffs. And honestly, they won't deserve to make the playoffs. They have to win this game. So give me the Chargers, just point blank.
Yeah, it's simple as that. Give me the Chargers. There's no reason for the Chargers to lose this game. Bucks Panthers. Beat up. You're not picking the Panthers. What am I saying?
So the thing is, the way Cam's been playing, you could basically put him in a Bucks jersey. That's how bad he's been these last couple of weeks. Give me the Bucks. They're playing against like a wounded deer, essentially.
Yeah, even with the injuries that the Bucks have, just give me the Bucks. They're just the better team overall. I can't pick the Panthers anymore. I've tapped out. The Bears and the Seahawks. I'll go underdog here. I'm gonna take the Bears. I like the way Justin Fields has been playing. Seattle has not been playing well at all. So give me the Bears by a little bit.
Give me the Seahawks. They played a tougher defense and put up more points than the Bears were able to against a Minnesota defense that does not inspire me. They have the better quarterback. Their coach, while being bad, is still better, and their skill guys are better. The Bears suck, but the Bears and Seahawks both suck. The thing is, the Bears suck, and there's no hope. The Seahawks suck, and there is hope because they've underachieved all year. Russell Wilson is still an all-pro quarterback. DK Metcalf is still a former high draft pick. Tyler Lockett is still a stud. I think they have the firepower to be able to beat this Bears team in any capacity.
The Broncos at Las Vegas to play the Raiders.
I hate picking the Raiders, but give me the Raiders. The Broncos are probably going to be starting Drew Lock if Bridgewater can't go, and Drew Lock is not the answer. He will wrap to Jeezy and throw 3 picks. It's who he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw Teddy doubtful, so give me the Raiders. Their quarterback will just be better in the end. Drew Lock just isn't going to get them anywhere. Yeah, the Steelers at Arrowhead facing the Chiefs.
Chiefs. I know Kelsey's on the list and Hill's on the list or something, but the Steelers' defense has been rough the last couple of weeks, and Ben's arm can't keep up with Mahomes. If Mahomes is able to wheel and deal the way like he did against the Chargers, it's not going to be close. It's just they don't have the firepower to keep up.
Yeah. They don't have explosive plays, and even without Hill and Kelsey, they still have like 3 other Tyreek Hills on the field, I think. At least that's what
it's Tyreek in the Hills. That's the name of their traveling band.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs. The Washington football team, Sunday Night Football, take on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, simple as that. Cowboys win. They beat them up last time they played. Their defense is hot. Their offense is sputtering, kind of, but it's still better than any of their offense in their division. And if Dak unlocks it these next couple of weeks, no one's going to touch them in their division.
Yeah, I've kind of said it before the past couple of weeks that, I wouldn't be surprised if Dak didn't look right against New York. This is the game right here. It's the worst passing defense in the league. You're at home. You are, rested for the most part. Hopefully your calf is feeling better. Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, Garrett Gilbert, doesn't matter. The Cowboys are healthy going into this game. Hopefully, knock on wood, no big COVID issues. But the Cowboys should win this game, should be able to keep themselves at the 2nd seed. Their biggest game, honestly, is probably playing the Cardinals the week after that. And then they play the Eagles. So just kind of beat up on the teams you're supposed to and get ready for Arizona. Monday Night Football, Miami Dolphins and the New Orleans Saints.
Give me the Saints. As good as the Dolphins have played in the past, Taysom Hill is a different kind of animal. He's not a good starting NFL quarterback, but as we saw this previous week, you don't need anything from him to win a game with this defense. And Tua is prone to make mistakes. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best corners in football. Cameron Jordan's back and healthy. I think the Dolphins are going to have a tough draw. The Saints are not a hot team, but they play extremely strong defense. And Alvin Kamara is healthy, and I just think they have enough to pull it out.
I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think their defense is good enough to keep up with Taysom Hill. Tua is prone to make mistakes, yes, but I just don't. I am not blown away by the Saints offense, even with Alvin Kamara back. We know Taysom Hill's not that great of a quarterback. They held a rushing quarterback like Cam Newton down, even during that span where Cam, looked decent. I think the defense has to step up because they did not look outstanding against the Jets. So this is a game where obviously we've said earlier that the Dolphins have to win out at this point, probably to make the playoffs. So I am just going to hope they can keep their streak going. This is a game where I feel like they need to win. This isn't one of those games where they're really counted out. They're kind of like on the same path that the Saints are. They're a mediocre team. The Saints start off really well and kind of skid to 7-7, and the Dolphins have surged up to 7-7. So I'll take the hot hand right now.
That's
but
fair.
It's close.
Yeah. I don't know. They're playing in New Orleans. That stadium's tough to play in. And I don't know. I just think New Orleans has some weird magic to it. I like the Saints. If they're not like facing a good team, I like picking them. They always seem to prove me wrong. So who knows? Maybe this is their off week. They've been doing that all year. So we'll see.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, that's going to do it. All the picks are done. We will probably be like 0 for 14 and be confused how football works next week per usual.
That would be impressive because we have a bunch of like contested picks this week as opposed to like last week.
How'd you do that? You're insane.
Nobody played. They just postponed the games. It's so weird.
Everybody got COVID. Literally everybody.
Yeah, they're handing it out like cars in the Oprah Winfrey show. But
as always, thank you for watching, whether you've been watching live or on demand. If you haven't downloaded the Halftime Hoops app, we are there every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Basically another show to hang out with us in audio room. It's a great app for news, great community. So hang out with us there. We'll be back here on Monday, December 27th at our normal time.
Correct.
At 4 p.m. Pacific time. So back to normal scheduling. No more Disneyland for me. I did too much walking and now my Achilles hurt. So that's what I get, I guess.
And then go ahead, Austin.
Once again, go to manscaped.com, use the code TMSM for 20% off and free shipping. They sent us a bunch of stuff to review. We love it all. So go out and go get it. They got deals going right now, and our code works on top of those deals. So if somebody has, just get them the stuff. I'm not going that far. I don't know why you would know that. Don't know why I know. Just it's a great gift to get somebody. So, boom.
Yes.
Devin, anything else?
Special thank you to Manscaped for helping sponsor our content. We appreciate the products. The products are great. And as always, you know what we are, the Makeshift Managers. Our code is TMSM, 20% off, free worldwide shipping. But you guys aren't here to listen to me ramble. This is the end of the show. So we're all waiting for the one word so that way we can go. Peace.